One. Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another Red Star One on One, where we interview um, our own members, kind of get to know a little bit about them. I really like this because it lets me get to know people as well. But kind of the concept of this show is we get to know some members of Red Star that may very well be playing at a table right next to you, so that you have something to break the ice with when you go to a game store. You don't know anybody that. Hopefully some people that we interview on this show will be right next to you playing, and you can strike up a conversation and maybe roll some dice and make new friends. Today's guest is one of my favorite people on Red Star, the pragmatic and super interesting to talk to, Ken Kersey. How you doing, brother?
Good to go. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. You are I guess I would say a regular guy. We haven't done a million of them or anything, but regular on Will, I, and Josh's Red Star Roundtable. Um, and I remember we met you just through the forums, or through our Facebook group, and you were so like pragmatic in your arguments. They were like, we got to get this guy on the show, and you've been a great addition. And when we're doing our planning, we're always talking. Should we get Ken on the show? Should we get Ken on the show? Should we get Ken on the show? I just want to let you know how much we appreciate you being a regular guest on that show, and how awesome it is to hear your nuanced takes versus my spasmatic, you know what I mean, emotion filled just diatribes, man. But so I thank you for being on those shows, and thank you for being on this one.
Well, my first one was actually I was still in the Airbnb while I was shopping for a house after moving here from Michigan. So this was a great introduction to me for me to the wonderful world of San Antonio. So
Right.
it's very nice. It's been very helpful for me.
So you were doing a transition, moving from Michigan to San Antonio at that time, and
Yes.
you just
Yep.
got here
I just got here. I've been here since August.
since August. Okay, so you really haven't. I mean, because you've been here during the entire like pandemic, so you haven't seen a full community up in swing in all the stores around town, which is a beauty to behold.
No, I've only met 3 or 4 Red Star people actually, even in person.
Really? Okay, and you've
Yeah.
and you've had them over to your awesome new gaming shed.
I've had 2 people so far,
Okay.
but hopefully more as this thing calms down and more people get this vaccine and we can, fully engage
Right, absolutely.
in.
And as a little aside, I know the state of Texas, which is where Red Star operates, is opening up to all ages. I think next week, and that's the one thing we've been waiting for. Once everybody in my family, I already have the vaccine, being diabetic, got it early, but once everybody else in my family, then be able to return to stores and start rolling dice. So I'm very, very much looking forward to, and I'm very looking forward to maybe stopping over and playing some, rolling some dice in that awesome shed you built.
Oh, by all means, hopefully by the time you come over, I got a making a board game table is next on my list of projects. So
Now,
I
I'm
have a
glad
temporary one.
she brought this up because I'm a little bit jealous. So, um, I we were just in the back talking about some of the disasters that I've done to home improve and how we want to get professionals to come in. It's like we've learned our lesson. I give it the old college try. It works, but it's not pretty. Some of these landscaping and rock retaining things that we've done. Um, you built a whole shed. Now, did you build that from scratch?
I built the shed itself. I've done all the finishing. The only thing I didn't do is I did not do the electricity because I know pretty much diddly squat about that. So
So
I
how do
didn't want to
you
electrocute myself the first time.
Did you were you experiencing woodworking? You're just like I'm going to learn this on the fly, or is
I've got the basics of building because I built a lot of things. So if you went over to Afghanistan 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years ago, you probably have seen some of the buildings that me and my crew built, and that's where I got most of my. I had 3 guys that were actually professional construction carpenters before they came in the military, and so I got a lot off of them.
right? So I guess that brings excellent segue to the next question. For those that know, you are a veteran, and I work for the Air Force, and for the last 16 years, have worked for the Army and the Air Force, the DoD, and just with some of the best men and women that I've ever known. So I just to know that the quality of people and how great um, service members are. So on behalf of everybody in Red Star and everybody, and I know that you guys hate to hear it, you know what I mean? Just oh shucks, but thank you for your service, and you're also in Military Town, USA. So there's a lot of veterans in Red Star. So you joining a community where you'll have other people with like-minded experiences, such as just that you will have as well.
Oh yeah, two the out of the three people I met, I think no, I'm sorry, all three of them have
Yeah.
been in the military or are currently in the military.
Right. Right. Which is like for those watching on YouTube, we're in San Antonio, Texas, and there's what like four bases or three big bases, and
There are three major
yeah,
ones, and then there are a smattering of smaller ones
yeah.
around here.
So what did you do when you were in the army?
Demolitions and explosives.
Oh, that sounds super dope.
I like things that go boom.
And so you were able to you were able, but you also this is where you also gained the experience to be able to build stuff. I'm assuming on
Yes,
yeah,
I mean in the army, you never know what type of opportunities you're going to get and what you can grab while you're out there doing it. So they were like they needed people to build, and I was like, hey, I want to know how to do that, and so I went and figured out how to do it, and then. I never finished a place before. That was all YouTube. YouTube is great. YouTube is the ultimate in handyman experience
right.
if you have the patience and the time.
Right. I say this all the time. How spoiled I guess we all are, but especially for the young kids in school. I graduated college like later in life, but around this time YouTube had matured, and I remember I was terrible at math, so I saved my statistics class for like the last semester, and I was just nervous, and I just nailed it because I would listen to the lectures, take copious notes, but I would then go, okay, there's got to be a better way. Then I would YouTube the same lesson, find somebody that explained it in a way that clicked, and then just able to just destroy the class. Like it's a the resources available to people nowadays are insane.
Absolutely fabulous. If you can utilize them, you can find almost anything. Though to be honest, there are still sometimes I wish I had somebody to help me. Like there's an Andean Silver Star or a Red Star that's hopefully eventually going to help me work on this airbrush thing because I've watched a bunch of videos and it's just not clicking. So
Right.
hopefully a little bit of one-on-one, hands-on time will help.
Absolutely. And of course, Will, and he's got the beard to prove it, is build stuff on the reg also. So I guess you and Will would be the guys that I would go to, knowing the fruits of your labor have been successful. He built this beautiful bar and deck and everything like that. So,
I saw it. Yeah, it's
yeah,
amazing. I've been building furniture since I was a teenager. So that's all the construction of this stuff was stuff that I learned in the military.
right. Man, that's it. I don't. The only thing I build is plastic. You know what I mean? Our plastic models. I wish
Hey,
there's
that
something to be
is
said about just being in touch and just taking where there is nothing, there is now something, and I have created this thing.
and it what the reason I got into miniatures in the first place is because I have no artistic ability outside of writing. But if it comes to drawing or painting or anything freehand or musical instruments or any of that have all been just beyond me. But I got into miniature painting and I found out that you don't need artistic talent to be good at it. You need patience and you need persistence.
Right.
And if you have those two things, and a steady hand helps, but there's all sorts of holding techniques to even help with that, or
Right.
even the steady hand thing's not a big deal.
Right.
And
It
so
Yeah, that's 100%. I mean, there's technique. When I started miniature painting, like everybody, you glob it on, and you're like, "Oh, this is my." I'm super proud of my first mini, which is funny because I think it was last week somebody posted on Red Star, "This is my first mini painted ever," and it was just filled with comments like, "Hey man, great job, first time. Hey, maybe you could do this next time." But it was all this positive feedback, and it was all like, I was like, "Oh, this is like this adorable Red Star moment for this person and getting this positive feedback." But to learn a technique like base coat, shade, and then just go over it again with the same color, just you grow leaps and bounds, and then you keep doing it, you keep doing it. And I know you have experience in an orc army, and nothing will get you more in touch with technique and muscle memory than painting a horde army.
no, there's really nothing else that improves it. Though to be fair, I'm an insane person, so my very first model I painted, I actually stripped 28 or 29 times, and then repainted it, and then stripped it and repainted it, stripped it, repainted it, stripped
It
repainted
must have
it.
been a pewter mini then.
No, it was plastic.
Oh, you didn't lose any detail from the scrubbing and the.
Nope, no, simple green and just a little light scrubbing, and I just
Right.
kept doing it over and over and over and over again. So yeah, no, that was quite the experience. It was fun though. I enjoyed it.
One of the things I think that I like about you, and a lot of people in Red Star are old school players. Now I'm not gonna, my bona fides that I'm so far old school, but I played in the fifth edition, sixth edition, and the Battle from a Crash. I think was that fourth, and then fifth edition being Black Reach, I believe. I go by
Fourth edition is Black Reach, I believe.
fourth edition.
I believe so.
Okay. Okay. Well, either way, it's always about like the starter sets. I had Battle from a Crash and I had Black Reach, but we were talking today and like reminiscing, and then somebody else in the we have this thread of just bros really, and we just talk about whatever. But you and I specifically were talking about old school 40K and how much we used to love the force organizational chart changes by taking a particular HQ, and it's just old school. And then somebody's like, "You guys are old." I'm like, yeah, you know what? When did we become step off my lawn with these stratagems and the rerolls and the auras and the stand-in cover?
I actually don't mind any of the stratagems or things like that. I think not everybody should play with them because if it bugs you, don't play with them. Just take them out of the game. If that's going to give you a better game. I like them for what they are. My gripes with 40K are actually much more into the minutia than that.
Right.
So,
right.
I'm a strategy person,
and I feel the same way. I mean, I don't hate strat. I piss and moan about them because they add a gotcha to the game where I guess I'm on a crusade to fix the feel bads. Like when I'm playing and I'm playing a friend, and I only play beer and pretzels. I don't play competitive. But when I'm playing and then I'm doing something and I gotta succeed, and then you gotta fail, and then you're like, okay, it's like yes, I this all of this came together, and they're like, hold on a second, and it's like the record screeching, you know what I mean? And it's like I'm gonna do this and I'm like, oh man, that's feel bads, but that's my own.
So
if
it's a friendly game, I'm like, if I see you're about to do something and I know it's going to be a stratagem that I got, there's almost no chance of you knowing I have because you have to know every army didactically to get it there. I'd be like, hey, if you do that, this is what I'm going to do.
No, I 100%.
Or this is what I can do.
I 100%. I'm just, it's stupid. Sometimes I feel like I'm such a baby.
We have all our own thing. Like for me, I'm one of two ways. It either needs to be extremely tight and extremely tactically focused, which is why I'm so diehard for Infinity, because that's what that game is, or it needs to be completely beyond the pale and wonky, which is why I loved second edition of Warhammer.
Right.
Or old Necromunda, because those things leaned into that really wonky rule set, and I enjoy either complete and utter chaos and randomness a la second edition, or I like complete tight and scripted and hard rules like Infinity. Or Malifaux. Malifaux is another good example.
Right. How do you feel about Blood Bowl then? If you feel like that wacky, it's like you can't really get mad at Blood Bowl because
No, I like Blood Bowl. Blood Bowl for what it is great.
Yeah.
Though if I was going to play, if I wanted to have a fun, laid back, wonky game, I'd play Blood Bowl. If I wanted a really tight game, I would play Guild Ball. So different types of rules, different types of feelings. My favorite board game is Eldritch Horror, and if anybody's ever played that board game, that is complete and total randomness. So I make it even more so.
Do you? I see you have like a shelf of board games as well, right? In the shed.
I do. Yeah.
So I've always wanted to. Or you can take us a tour. Yeah. Show this bad boy off.
And there's all my things there. So let me turn this thing around. Technology.
We're gonna go for.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there we go. That's my paint booth. All right, that's all my paints.
There we go. Okay.
This is my current table that I just got a 2x4, or I'm sorry, a 4x6 piece of plywood on. But here's all my board games.
Look at that beauty! You can open up your own store with that. What is that? What is that giant? Oh, Gloomhaven! Look at that beast.
Yeah. And then I tend towards campaign games or wonky games or really hardcore games. Like that's a hardcore strategy game. If you like Risk and you like Lord of the Rings, that game will get you going.
So let me ask you this, and this is the reason that I've never been able to play. I don't have people to play with. How do you get over that little stump?
It has been hard. I'm trying to build a community here. Being in the military, I was on the go or deployed all the time.
You're sideways right now.
Why is this like this?
Yeah, you're sideways.
Stop it. All right, so
There we
go
go.
this way. There we go. But so I've been trying to form some people, and I have been having some problems. Like I got the only game of War of the Ring I've got since I've been here is with my nephew who came to visit me, who is 12, and he is a sharp tack, and he actually did very well.
Right.
But other than that, I mean, there are board game groups. Finding the groups that want to play games that you like I like those really long campaign games. I'm hopefully once COVID's done and I can meet more people, maybe I can recruit some people in. But it takes time and it takes work. And you're pretty good at all that. I mean, you like to network.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is.
And I'm glad you brought that up because you have these aspirations of making and building a community. You're very much in that regard like Caesar. Caesar very much is community guy. Learn to play sessions, get together. I like this game and I want to show you how awesome this game is. Show up and I've got everything that you need. You have made multiple comments that you're interested in building an Infinity community. Now that's not to say that there aren't people in town that play Infinity. I've seen it maybe once, but that's total anecdotal. But that's something that you want to kind of create and foster. So I suppose, frankly, there's more people playing this game that you love.
Oh yeah, and there are people already playing. Caesar's already involved in it. We've already. I think you met William Lance, not Lanson.
Easton.
I'm bad with names. Yes.
Yeah. I don't think I've met him, but yeah.
That's close, but
Yeah.
But there's already people interested. But I want to get it. I want to get the game out there. It's a great game. I think we discussed it today. It's a beautiful game. It's really great rules, but their marketing is terrible, and they rely way too much on on people like me to get it off the ground,
right?
Per se. But the only stickler with that is I'm an extremely slow painter, and I'm not going to bring an unpainted army to a demo game because that's just not,
Right, you're not showing off the beauty. Yeah, the whole aspect of the game. So
I need to buckle down.
Right.
Buckle down and get it done.
And I always see people painting Infinity. Roman's painting Infinity on the reg. I've seen your work. Aaron's got it. I know a bunch of people that have gotten it, and it's we've talked about, and I've talked about it on Will and I and Josh's show about my tier list, like Warhammer, Blood Bowl, and the third one is always changing. And then Marvel Crisis Protocol won over Infinity. I don't even know why or how. But
access, and people to talk to about it.
Probably
makes sense.
And Infinity's always been on the cusp of breaking into that tier. But if like we had something and I saw my bros, like you're a super cool dude and I would love to freaking just hang out and throw dice and like spend an afternoon with you and some other people. If I went somewhere and I saw that, I would be like, I'll buy an army kit right now. Like take all my money.
Take my money.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, there wasn't that, and I know I'm not the only one. There wasn't that accessible. You know what I mean? And it's unfortunate because, I mean, I hear amazing things. I've seen multiple battle reports and see how cool Infinity is, and the it's just so different and like you said, tight. It's super cool. And what is like their tagline is like it's always your turn.
It's always your turn.
Always your turn is
the
so
most
awesome.
Engaging tabletop game.
Right.
You never get that feeling like
the stacked dice feeling.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That is a good way to put it.
Yeah. That's with 40K. Like I had this one friend who I love him to death. I hadn't played with him in forever. He was just a notoriously slow player, right? And then in 40K, it's the second, it's the third round, and it's like you know how this is gonna go, right? It's just like I can't remember if I was gonna win or he was gonna steamroll. But we want to play this out, and we all made it out. And this is a 3.5-hour game, and I'm waiting for his turn, just like stacking dice, knowing the outcome. Going, we could be playing something else, 2 more smaller games in the time it takes to finish this one.
And I'm a super rapid player. One of the reasons don't I love the aesthetics of my orcs, but I cannot do a horde army. I found that out. It's just rolling all those dice and moving all those dudes. I feel I'm normally this is how I play anything.
100%.
War game, everything.
I'm the same way.
And it's like, oh, let me move my 120 dudes. And that's going to take some time no matter how you look at it.
Right. It's a complete pain in the butt. As a matter, 'cause I love. I play Astra Mill, but I love orcs. Are also my second love. They were actually my first ever army. And I'm like, I very much want to rebuild an orc army, like from my days of old, but it would be no boys. I don't want to deal with that BS again. And the morale of painting them also is such a kick in the groin when you 3 boxes for one troop's choice, and it's just like, oh, that's
I got a total of
yeah.
50 boys painted in the span of 5 years.
Yeah, yeah. I
I painted
remember.
all the characters. I painted the death dreads. I painted all the other cool stuff and all sorts of other different things, including just random minis that only get displayed. I don't use them for anything.
Right.
But painting the same thing over and over and over, I can't do it.
It's tough,
I
man.
just
Yeah,
can't do it.
it's tough. I played. I've got right now about 60 Kriegers, and I'm like, dude, I got to do this again. Do I really have to do this again? I got to put them together first. But it's the same. I mean, I've got about 100 Catachin that are somehow all
Those
painted.
guys that can do that assembly line painting and just knock them out, I'm so jealous of that because I wish I cannot do it. I am constitutionally incapable of doing that.
Right. Yeah, but see, I remember with the Catachins, I did them all in one go, assembly line. But I didn't do all 100. I did them in batches of. This week we're gonna do 20 or 30 or whatever. And then so it took me a while, but it wasn't like pants, 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 100 of them. And then it's like, vest, 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 vest. Yeah, or no way, or I would have jumped off the roof.
One of the reasons I'm so big into Infinity, and honestly, it's probably for me, it's a more personal thing, which is why I don't normally bring it up in like conversations about why 40K is good or bad, because this is so personal. It doesn't matter. I don't like painting the same thing over and over.
Right.
So I like this Malifaux game where all these dudes are different. I don't even have to paint them the same colors
Right.
if I don't want to, or Infinity, which has just a few models. My current team that I usually use is the same rotation of 12 dudes that I use in almost everything. I can spend my time painting those to the standard that I like to have them at, and I don't feel the push to be like not dropping a gray army on the table. And there's nothing wrong with having a gray army at the table. It just irritates me to see my army gray.
Right. I'm the same. I remember when I used to be. I don't even want to mess with the hobby. This was, I want to play Warhammer, and I was Gray Army guy, and I don't know what. Just as you mature, 10 years later, I'm like, I can't put gray. If I want to take this out this weekend, I have to sit down and buckle up and then paint these 2 tanks because I just put them together, and I'm playing Friday. I have now till Friday to finish these so that I can field them.
Yeah, and I'm just not good with that kind of deadline. It's the only army that I ever completely painted was my Circle, and that's because I was the only game that I played a lot of tournaments with was Warma Hordes.
Right.
So I did get all those painted. Not to mention it was, again, fairly small. I don't have a large model count. I didn't play all the units that they started bringing into that game. I played big monsters, and I enjoy painting those guys.
Let me ask you this question. It doesn't matter which game it is, but what's think about this, what's your best hobby advice? It could be for any game. It could be for hobbying itself. It could be for collecting Infinity, how to research, just anything with your best piece of advice. Because I do really value your wisdom. I think you're a very smart and pragmatic person that somebody should come to somebody like you for advice before they start X, Y, and Z.
So my best piece of advice is probably the thing that, and I've been guilty of doing this, and I'm sure we all have, is buy what you need. Buy what you need, get it to the standard or get it how you want it, then go out and search for some more things. Don't buy it all up front. And I've done the same thing. I did it with orcs. I bought 3,000 points worth of orcs, and I have about 550 points painted.
Right.
And now I'm trying to sell the rest of it.
Right.
Which I'm going to take a massive loss on because that is a massive expense. So Infinity, a lot of people are like, I don't want to jump whole hog into this new game. If I was going to tell you, let's play Infinity or let's play Malifaux, both of these have the same kind of thing. Buy the minimum you need for an army. For instance, Infinity comes with box sets. Malifaux comes with box sets. Buy that main box set. Buy maybe 1 or 2 dudes to give you some things to switch in and out. Get those to where you want them. Learn that game. Learn all the options they have to give. And then by that point, I want this, but I don't need that. I want this, but I don't need that.
Right.
And you'll save a lot of money. You'll get a lot more different kinds of games and or more of that game or more factions of that game, however you want to say it, how whatever floats your boat. But you won't break your bank and you won't get that pile of shame too large. We're all going to have some.
Right.
That's inevitable, but don't let it get unmanageable
Right.
and then end up selling a bunch of gray plastic or silver metal.
Right. I know that's a fantastic advice. I don't know for those of us that have had our hands in in various games, but the hobby, we're all guilty of that. And it's so funny because this wisdom is like, don't do what I've done like 5 times. You know what I mean? But it's like trying to tell a teenager like, don't do this thing because me as your parent, I know what it's like to, overuse your credit card and then you got all this debt. You know what I mean? Like, don't do it, and then the kid ends up doing it anyways. But I heard somebody give similar advice for Warhammer, and it's like, get your HQ, and get a few troops, and play the game. I know the dreadnoughts look awesome, and the tank looks dope, but you will appreciate having your HQs and multiple troop options before you start buying the cool toys. Because now
Mm-hmm.
you're taking care of your troops and your HQ are taken care of, and now you can put in the cool battle bots and all that stuff.
And there's so many resources out there to either look at rules beforehand or build things. You've had Battle Scribe for years, that allows you to. That's what I did when I bought my sisters. I bought my sisters all on Black Friday, and I had an exact list of what I wanted
Right. I've done that too.
beforehand.
Yeah. I got
And as
2,000 points right here. Let's go. Let's buy it.
So whenever that gets painted, and I got enough to do a Crusade army and add some expansions because the Crusade's the thing in 40K that really, wets my whistle. But once I get those painted, then I will start looking at other things to fill in. And after I played a few games and know what they do, Malifaux is the same way. I just got into that. I think I've been posting some of
Yep.
my paintings. I'm painting some little guys over here. I bought 11 guys. Once I get these 11 guys painted and get some games in with them, then I'll start thinking about adding more dudes in there.
Right. Right. Yeah. That's great advice. Next question is something I asked, a 3-part question I asked all the people that participate on Red Star One-on-One. It is to get to a little bit know about you and your kind of your tastes and things that aren't necessarily related to hobby. But what is your favorite food? What is your favorite TV show? And what is your favorite movie?
Um, Favorite movie is probably the easiest one to answer, but it's gonna have to be multiple. It would be Princess Bride, Big Trouble in Little China, and Army of Darkness.
Those are all great picks. Those are all Hall of Famers. Big Trouble in Little China though is so quotable. Excellent choice.
Oh yeah, I mean, so is Princess Bride. As you
Yeah, that's true.
wish.
Yeah, that's
You
true
know,
too. Favorite TV show?
uh, I don't watch TV almost at all.
Not even Netflix
So
and stuff.
when my wife gets me to sit down and watch it, but I tend to read while she's watching TV.
Okay.
Reading is my primary hobby.
So may I make a recommendation if you also like to read?
Sure.
Yeah. I like Andrew Sapachkit's The Witcher. Um,
I've read them all.
okay. Yeah.
Good,
So
great
yeah,
books.
I love those books. Netflix has a pretty excellent starring Henry Cavill
I did
series.
watch it.
Okay.
It was good. I did enjoy
Okay.
it.
There you go. Very good. It's a good show. Not my favorite, but good. My favorite's Battlestar Galactica.
I
So
like that. The old one or the new one?
the remake, the Ronald Moore one.
Okay, I like that one too. I
Yeah.
think I watched it. I think I watched some of it anyways.
it's I love it. I love it. It has its lull moments, one season in particular, but I thought it was a great show. And your favorite food?
I'm pretty much a human garbage disposal. I will eat almost anything and enjoy it. Currently, my wife has been making these things called sopas for me,
Uh-huh.
which are really good. Um, and I like Mexican traditional authentic tacos, like the type you would go to Mexico like and get off a street vendor.
Right? Like
Yeah,
al pastor and stuff like that.
Al pastor is my favorite of those.
Yeah.
Yes.
So mini tacos, yeah, the street tacos. Gallecitos
Yeah.
as they yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, we're here at the 30-minute mark. So if somebody, and I know not everybody's at the at stores, all full throttle yet. But when things are back to normal, people are more comfortable. Where would somebody be likely to find you, and what would they be likely to see you playing?
Probably either Gamers Gems or Dragon's Lair, Alamo Ranch, because those are both fairly near me, even though that driving away from Alamo Ranch terrifies me. I hate all that traffic.
Yeah.
But and it would be Infinity, Malifaux I'm looking into. If I can get some people playing some like War of the Ring or something like that would be great. Though that one will probably stay in the shed. That has a lot of setup time.
Right.
But Infinity, Malifaux are my two major focuses right now. Maybe I'll get into some Warhammer if I ever get these girls painted.
Right.
But Infinity and Malifaux are my two things. You should be hopefully seeing me soon doing, well, by soon I mean in 3 months when I finally have all this stuff set up, doing Infinity demo games. And Malifaux, I like my dudes here, and it's a pretty cool game. Kind of replaces Warhammer Hordes for me.
Right.
So
Excellent, man. Well, if you are interested in learning either Malifaux or Infinity, then Ken is going to be your guy. You can reach him on Red Star. Are you open to just somebody just cold messaging you and just say, "Hey, man, I would love to play a game"?
yep, I'm down with that.
Okay, yeah. Great guy. I think you're gonna have a lot of fun rolling dice with Ken. So, dude, I appreciate you being on the show, man. Thank you so much for your time.
No problem, Mike. Thanks for having me, bud.
All right, buddy, and we're definitely gonna get you on the round table again. All right, buddy. You have a good night, man.
You too.
Thank you.